Do you see me measuring anything? It's called art. Just like drawing. You have a vision, you see where you're going, you just try getting there. What's up, guys? So, getting some progress done here, and you know what? It's actually Saturday again. I didn't work on this thing all week. I'm trying to get every little thing that's important that I can done so we can drive this thing and mow the lawn. So, let's see where I'm at. Oops. So I'm finally laying down some good looking welds with this thing. That is not bad at all. So, random piece I had, whatever that is, 1 by 1, I don't even know. No, that's more, that's 2 by 2? I don't know. That guy's welding up right there. Now remember, this is removable, this panel. So once this is all welded together, the way that this steering system or column will be able to be removed will be by removing the steering wheel, and then that whole piece will unbolt and come right off of there like that. Now actually, I'm already really happy with the way this is turning out. I did not do a good job on my fitment with the cut here, but that'll be alright. You can weld the Grand Canyon with a MIG welder. And honestly, this thing right now, let me see if I can, like, this is actually really solid. My initial thought was I was going to put some reinforcements, like, you know, at the very least, like, down. And I might still do that, or possibly even out to the sides. I might still do that. But it feels like, and it, you know, if you're going to really drive this thing hard, it would probably need that. Just for mowing the lawn, though, it's freaking mint. It's going to be perfect. I'm going to go ahead and continue to weld that up. I wasn't actually, when I cut that, I wasn't planning on welding to there, so that obviously is huge. I might just make a cap piece to go there so that I can weld it all up. I'm not going to even, that would be stupid to just try to weld that gap. I was really just trying to get it to weld to this piece. So that'll be fine. I'm going to weld that up there. And the next thing we're going to do, before I even go any further with that, is I'm going to weld up this drag link. And that's why I pulled the camera out. So we got our steering wheel. No, we don't. We no longer have it straight because we were just messing with it. So we want to get our steering wheel, and this is really good, nice and good. This freaking pipe actually worked out beautifully. There's a little stiff spot right on center. So I may just have to clean up the shaft a little bit better, because this wasn't perfect. In fact, you can see right here, it's like almost crunched a little bit. That might be why, but regardless, that should do us really good. So we're going to get our steering perfectly straight. Of course, I don't even know what I was going to say. And I already have the wheels. They are as they were before. I'm pretty certain those are as straight as they're going to get. We will be pretty lucky if there's not a little bit of, you know, if it's actually straight, we're going to be lucky. The right thing to do would be to have an adjustable end here. Now, of course, if I was building this thing like my other machine, and I eventually will upgrade it, I would do Heim joints on the ends, and then you have your adjustment, and it's a lot safer and stronger. But for now, we're just going with the stock piece. It's going to work fine. We're just not going to have the adjustment. So here's the piece we cut. We're just going to hold that in place and tack it in there and kind of hope for the best. Helmet didn't go dark. Okay, that's not too bad. Oh, that is not long enough, is it? Oh my God, seriously? Come on. How did I cut that too short? You saw that was too short, and I ain't cutting it out. You're getting the raw deal. This was actually a steering column, not a steering drag link, and am I even in the ballpark? Yeah, somewhere around there. A little bit thicker, but it'll be fine. It'll work just good. We figured out if I put the vice grips under there, it was like a jack stand for that piece, so I didn't have to hold that in place, and then I was able to hold it. Now, of course, it is just tacked right now, because now, before I go crazy welding it, let's actually make sure that it does some steering action. I think it's tacked enough. I'm hoping it is, because I do not want that to mess up. So, No, I don't think so. Question is though. Oh, yes. Well, going that way is a little bit weird. We'll go that way. Well, we got a ways to go in the box, but not a lot of... Yeah, you know what it is? Look at the geometry. It's such that it doesn't go any further. That's not great. That is a big problem. The geometry on this freaking front end sucks. So for one, on the other style, it's the tie rod is at the back, but the steering itself is in a similar location, but it is a bit shorter, although I don't know, it doesn't seem that much shorter. Alright, so I actually measured that on the other one, and it's actually not far off at all as far as the length goes. I did just mess with it again. I can actually get I can get all the steering out of it. It seems like it does better one direction than the other though. One major problem that I did not foresee is we need more support on our front axle here, because I don't know if you could see that, but the entire axle is moving instead of actually steering the car. So that is going to be an issue we're going to have to resolve. Alright, so I got that. Oh, why does it look so ugly on camera, but it looks better in real life? I got that welded up a little bit more. Good enough for now. There, that's a better looking weld. See, I know what I'm doing. I just, you know, have a low percentage of actual success for what good looking welds. Yeah, so I thought about it and I realized that's a big reason why I actually mounted my axle solid to the front of the frame on the other tractor. Because for like true go-kart level steering, now of course it's different than a go-kart because it has a wider steering ratio, you know, more turns per lock to lock, which I like better actually than a go-kart. But my point is to get as close to direct steering where it's not got all that play in it like the lawnmowers typically have. Having that axle mounted directly to the front frame makes that difference. It means there's nothing else that can move. So I am going to address this. I'm hoping this is just going to work. I'm basically just going to make some pieces to weld to here on either side that go out, and maybe even tie in over here. No, because you got to think about how far. You know what I got to do? I got to do a test with that steering link now and see how much movement I have, how much articulation I have. So I should basically be able to test this articulation just by hand lifting this up. Come off the jack stands, but any further than that, I think it'll go well beyond that. It'll definitely go up above that, so I gotta keep that in mind and not really go there. Alright, I hate doing things twice. I hate redoing things that are semi-good to make them perfect, but this has got to go. I'm going to use this whole piece here. It's actually what the other end of this was connected to, I think. So if I can get these two tabs to line up and that go on there, that might do us good. So this... Alrighty. Now, we just gotta figure out where to drill the hole for this guy. Remember how I said sometimes I don't know when to just quit the old idea and start on the new one? So here we go. We're just gonna cut this off too. And basically, this I determined this is pretty strong. This is some really thick stuff. It's heavy. So this is going to do as I planned. That's going to go there, which is going to give us our extra support. And then that guy is going to bridge the gap, I think. I think that's what I'm going to use. I might have something a bit better than that, but that's pretty much where I'm going with it. Alright, I spared you all the cutting and thinking and drilling. We got her drilled. We got that cut. We got it ground. Somebody actually commented on a TikTok once It said ground, not grinded. Although they didn't say not grinded, they just said ground. So I assume they meant ground because I say grinded. Whatever. Boy, I can really talk about literally nothing. Let's get that welded, tacked in place, and I think we got a much better situation than we had before. Although it's still going to have some play. I mean, there's literally nothing you could do because the bushing has to allow for enough play, otherwise there won't be any articulation. I also figured out something really catastrophic, and I ain't fixing it right now. We're just going to mow and we're going to let it be. There's a big problem. This will articulate down, that go up, this go down, no problem. It will not go the other way very far because that drag link hits that deck mount, and the deck mount right now is not something I can change, and that drag link, frankly, there's not much I can do about that right now either. We're just going to let it ride as is. Whatever, we'll deal with that another time. Alright, I'm not even going to test the steering yet because I don't want to be disappointed. I am calling that drivable. That's more than tacked. That is just about welded in place. Of course, I'm going to weld it more than that, but that's good for now. Did it really stop the play in the axle? I don't even know. Like I said, I'm not even going to worry about it right now. We're just going to move on. We're going to let it be. You know, all this fabbing stuff, like doing this kind of stuff, I like that. It's kind of fun to create something like that and then make it happen. And welding is fun and everything like that. But you know what I don't like? Having the engine off and having to put the engine back on and dealing with the Pt2 clutch. And it's all easy bolt-on stuff, but it's just not satisfying. It's just annoying. Making a custom exhaust is fun. I don't know if we're going to get to that today. You know, why do I even have the engine off? Well, of course it was easier to do this, the engine out of the way, but I actually took the engine off originally because I was going to throw one of those opposed twins on there, and frankly, I was under the impression, and I've worked on these things for many years, I don't know why I was thinking, because all the times that I've ever just changed to a different engine on one of these, I thought that the opposed twin would just bolt right on. I thought it was a universal pattern, but there's not a pattern on here that bolts the opposed twin. Even though I think older versions of this frame actually came with opposed twins, and I have the other one that has an opposed twin on it, but it was apparently drilled for the opposed twin. This is not drilled for it. Now, okay, drilling the holes for it isn't a big deal. I also originally was going to put the opposed twin longitudinal instead of, well, I don't know if you'd call it longitudinal with a vertical shaft, but I was going to mount it cylinder forward, cylinder back, instead of cylinder side to side, so that I could fit that hood on there. But then it's not drilled for that either, and oh my god, it just turned into this thing where, oh, not only that, the freaking opposed twin sitting on this frame is like, I don't even know, it's like 3 or 4 inches at least higher than that Vanguard. The Vanguard, the only reason I wanted to throw the opposed twin on is because the Vanguard runs like shit, and I don't have a carburetor for it, and I never did get a carburetor for it, so hopefully we can make that work, or, you know, use what it has to give. Because I am not putting the opposed twin on here, because again, like I said, the hood would be like way up in the air. Alright, now we're getting to the fun part. Well, one of the other fun parts. We're going to do an exhaust, which I wasn't even sure. I was thinking about just leaving this stock for now, but we're just going to do it. Frankly, I would typically probably want the engine in place, but I already saw where I was going with it, so I kind of have a general idea of what my limitations are. Frankly, there really are no limitations. I know that this goes down below the frame, and I'm not worried about that because I'm going to basically cut this guy right here, turn it so it's coming this way, and I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do here yet. I may just chop it somewhere in this neighborhood. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna merge the 2 pipes. Could chop it here and have it going that way, but I'd rather stay away from there anyway. Do I really want to have a 2-in-1? Well, I kind of would like to have twin stacks and have a dual, but I don't have the appropriate sized pipes, I don't think, to make that happen. But either way, I'm going to have the stack come up on the left side, or the driver's side, whatever you want to call it, left side, and this guy has to go that way. So even if we do 2 stacks, that guy's got to go that way. Almost perfect. Could have got the angle a little bit. Oh, actually, that's almost perfect. Probably maybe should have cut it a little bit further down. Yeah, actually, that's not too bad. It's did not work out the way I was hoping. It's much bigger right there. Yeah. All about your eyeball. Whatever you see, you can see it as you build it. I like that. That's not too bad. I mean, it's still not a great flowing pipe that way, but what we're going for is we're going to have that guy like that. I don't know if you can even really see what I'm doing here. Don't know where. This guy like that. This guy's going to go here. Something going across, and then they're going to merge. This is some serious backwoods country boy of New York shit right here. Just on the floor, fabbing up my exhaust. Not where I wanted it. Son of a figures too, it's a hell of a tack. It's pretty close. Now it's no cigar though. Actually, you know what? Look at that. Yeah. No, I don't like that either. Man. Talk about a freaking tack weld. Watch this. Y'all better get your y'all better get your head screwed on straight. Alright, so this is gonna go here. Here's where it starts getting interesting, alright? Let's take this guy. Here's where I start grabbing a vice grip instead of cutting my fingers off. Could have swore I plugged her in. Nope, wrong one. Actually, I just never plugged it in. hope y'all's is paying attention to me. This is gonna have to be chopped down shorter. Do you see me measuring anything? It's called art. It's just like drawing. You see a bit, you have a vision, you see where you're going, you just try getting there. Does that mean it's actually going to work? Like the cut that I just made, is it actually going to be in the right spot? I don't know. No, it's not, but it's close. It's going to land yet because I'm still going to cut this straight piece and then get it sliced and diced. Figure out where the dice has to be, which is going to be tough because we can't go and just weld it here yet. But that's pretty close, so we're going to have to mark that. I guess I'm going to terminate this straight piece right there, right? Hey, what's up, guys? It's VoiceOver Gary. I haven't talked to you in this one yet. So, you know, you guys can save your comments. I get it. I know I didn't set the camera up very well for this one, and you're just looking at the back of my head half the time, but, we're just going to have to work through it on this one and do a better job next time. What did I do here that's not correct? What did I do wrong here? Huh. So we could use a piece to take up the gap. Remember what I said about it being an art project? Well, you don't exactly have an eraser when you're dealing with metal. You just have to come up with another solution. Adapt and something else. I can't think of another thing. Adapt and overcome, right? Yeah. You almost can't even tell. Looks good. I think I'm going to tack these two corners together right here in the middle. It's going to be tough. Yeah. Stand back here, kind of looks pretty sick, doesn't it? Kind of see where we're going with the collector. It's obviously not equal length, but that doesn't matter. Here's where I am a little disappointed. Can you really see it? Yeah. So you can see we got that pipe is like going nice and straight with the bottom of the engine. And this is not. This is kind of, you can see it. It's kind of like facing that way a little bit. But once it's all painted black, and then the black paint wears off and burns right off and it turns to rust again. Yeah, you know what? I'm actually pretty happy with where this is going. Now the moment of truth is we put it on the machine and see if we are having any major clearance issues. I don't think we are because we cut it off. The pipes were normally going down into the big hole in the frame right here. And there's no way they're lower than that point now, so it should be It shouldn't even really be ahead of here. It actually should be still over here. Alright, I've always been really bad about jumping around from project to project without finishing something, but we kind of have to right now. We got to figure out the hood placement in order to continue with the exhaust. So you can see the exhaust is where we left off, and it is looking absolutely beautiful. And frankly, there's not much to figure out here. We're pretty much just going to collect this, and it's going to do some kind of action where it's going to go that way and go up, using something like one of these pipes. Nothing's really long enough to be a full stack, so probably going to end up welding two of the straightest parts together to get a stack out of it. Not even sure if I like those anyway, but either way, here's what I'm doing with the hood, or at least here's where I'm going. Hopefully this is going to work. So I took the front part of the original hood. Normally it went all the way across. It was one piece bolted to the inside of the hood. I chopped the middle out because now that is in our way. And then I just clearanced that. So that goes in there. There's actually so these bolts right here, they hold a little rod in there. That rod is what captures on that little groove there. And I'm going to try to make something to go to that hood. Now the thing about this hood that kind of sucks though is that it's all plastic. Well, the back of it's metal, but the front part here where it actually goes to something is plastic. It would have had like a rod through it. And you can see it's actually broke right there. Either plastic or fiberglass. I think it's plastic. But it had it's broke right there, and it's also completely broke right there. So I may just try to like bolt to that flat section or something, you know. I'll figure something out. But the whole front of this thing is plastic. But like I said, I don't really know where the exhaust pipe's going to land until I have the hood on there. Here we go. Paint the picture. Alright, that is going to work. We just need to weld that there, and then figure out how we are going to come off of that and connect to the hood. Sorry for the lawnmower noise in the background, but that's just going to happen. Let me know in the comments. Do you really like seeing holes get drilled and pieces of metal get cut? Or do you prefer me to do what I typically do, which is just do a thing and then show you what I did? So I think I showed you earlier, this is busted out here. The pin or whatever would have went, bolt's pin, I don't know, probably a pin, would have went through there. So this is actually fiberglass, which is nice. So yeah, here you go. Flat bar. 2 holes, better than one. Just screwed into that nice thick block of fiberglass right there. And now we have a nice piece of metal that we can weld to or bolt to. I'll probably weld to that. Yeah, so we have the hinge deal there. And I'm probably just going to use that same square stuff and probably just come up like, you know, one here, one here. Alright, I'll let you have a look at it before I put it back on. I started out very proud of it, and then I started doing a couple of really crappy welds, and, well, I'm still happy with it, but here's an issue that sucks. This whole thing is so flexible, it appears there must be a grill missing. There's a fastener hole there, and in the middle, and with that missing, there's a lot of flex. But this entire piece here was flexing so much that my solution was just I took a belt guard that I had, and it already had a hole there, so I fastened that. It's not really the best looking thing, and it's not exactly centered because of the way that is. Something I'm probably going to change in the future, or maybe just forget about it and not care. But it definitely seems to have helped. Now, how much it's helping, I don't know, because I haven't put it back on. When I first tilted the hood, it was like really floppy, almost to the point, well, I didn't even like let the hood go under its own weight. It was so floppy, it seemed like it was going to break. So we're about to find out. I'm going to put that on there. I still got to make the whatever the back's going to rest on. actually can't stand the sound of that lawnmower. That freaking mowing sound is just so annoying. Okay. Well, it seems acceptable. Definitely vulnerable though. Like you want to, have to take care when opening and closing it because there is so much. You see how much that's moving? That's all just that plastic flexing. The mount that I made is not flexing at all, as it of course wouldn't. It's solid steel, but well, it's tubular steel, but you know what I mean. But I'm happy with the hinge action. I mean, hey, it's the original hinge setup, which is really cool. I like that. And now, I eyeballed it too. I pulled out a measuring tape and I was thinking, okay, what can I measure off of? It was all about just eyeballing it. I just got it as centered as I could. Honestly, this would be easier to do if it was outside where I could really stand back instead of in here. But it's a whole hassle to do that, and it's a mess out there, and it's cloudy, and whatever. Alright, sometimes I gotta remember that I'm trying to make a YouTube video out of this. Alright, where are we at? Well, I got the stack itself figured out. How it's gonna connect up to that, I don't know yet. But I figured out the bracket that's gonna hold the stack. So that guy's bolting right to the engine right there. Which is awesome because that means the engine and the pipes and everything will be all one unit connected to each other. The stack itself, we got this lovely piece is going to go here. And to extend that, that'll weld there. This is chrome, not stainless, by the way. So unfortunately, there'll be a rusty part in the middle. But check this out. Cut that off. And that is an absolute beauty for a stack pipe. And that's going to just kind of sit facing slightly back. Should sound pretty wicked with the 2 into 1. You know what? I actually wanted to put a muffler on this or even like a resonator, so this is kind of going to go a little bit crazier than I was wanting to do, but there's not a whole lot of room for a resonator or a muffler either. I had this chrome resonator, like a small box, small like round resonator. I don't know where it is. I can't find it. I was going to have that there and then the stack coming off of it. Basically, I was going to have the resonator like right on the side and then the stack just going straight up off of it. But the other thing was that was like a 2-inch or probably 2 1/4 or 2.5 inch pipe on that resonator. So it would have been pretty much a nightmare trying to make it work with the limited amount of stuff that I have right now. So yeah, it's just going to be straight piped. So alright, let me show you where I'm at, where I was going. So I was going to try and use that little scrap piece of stuff to actually just connect this to the header. And then I was going to, of course, weld this to that. But I'm really quickly running out of space here that would allow that to happen. And then I was just thinking, the stack, it only goes to there. I mean, it's going to be taller, but it's bolted to the engine. You unbolt that, you unbolt the header, and the whole thing can just come off. Why not just weld it all into one, you know? Just have a one-piece setup. So I'm just going to cut this collector back a little bit further so that this guy can actually go where it needs to go. And we'll weld that all up. Okay, seriously? This hood is made of titanium or something. That was a hell of a freaking cut. That is, oh, it's double. Well, yeah, it makes sense. It's double layered right there because it's kind of a lip. But that was a tough thing to cut right there. Holy crap! So I'm getting the hood back on because I realize I got to get the stack perfectly straight. If I'm gonna weld that, the stack has to be perfectly straight. I got to put the top piece on, get it all perfect. Then I can weld that once I know everything's lined up. Wanted to also show you. I don't know if I showed this, I don't think I did, my solution for propping the hood or staying the hood at that level there. Was just going to be a temporary measure, but that's just going to probably be what it is. I think that was like for a seat bracket or something. Oh, forgot to lift that. Why is that so low? That's definitely got to go that way, I believe. That's the thing, I wanted to get this thing out here so I could actually really look at the exhaust and make sure the stack is going to be located where I want it. Problem is that bracket's not straight either. Oh yeah, there we go. Straight that way or that way, right? I love that though. That tip is perfect. So, now that we adjusted that, that's going to throw off the piece we just started making. But you got to remember, you can weld the Grand Canyon with a MIG welder, so I'm not too concerned about it. So let's pop her back in there and see if we can make that happen. Alright, so it turns out I decided I am using the little flex piece because, well, mainly because once I adjusted that stack to be the exactly where I wanted it, the piece that I already started making was like a mile off. So this was the best way to go, and it'll give me, it'll basically barely move. Once it's in place, it's in place. But I feel like I'll have a little bit more chance of tweaking it a little bit if it needs to be tweaked. But I have it basically, or I have it right where it needs to be right now. We're not going to completely, obviously, weld in that gap in the middle there. I have a couple pieces that I made up that I'm going to weld in there. And to be honest, the fitment, yeah, it's pretty bad, but it's close. So we are going to do some Grand Canyon welding there just to get it started at least. And yeah, the interesting thing is this is a different engine obviously than my other V-twin, and I don't have equal length here. I got one long one and one short one, so I'm wondering, and plus it's a shorter exhaust, I'm wondering how similar it'll sound, and also just will it sound a lot different. I'll be honest, I kind of wish it was a opposed twin, but I didn't feel like going through the effort of making this have an opposed twin. And one of these days, we'll get that Kubota 3-cylinder D950 on something and make a proper... Actually, honestly, I don't even want to make a stack for that. I have an idea for that, similar to the other tractor, but bigger, and an exhaust out the back. So I'm just talking out of my ass because I don't have any actual plans or any parts or any money to put into that right now, so never mind. Alright, guys. Well, we obviously aren't driving it today and mowing the lawn like I said I was going to be doing. So that's what I get for not working on it all week. And I'm not even going to say I had much else going on. I just really kind of lost motivation on this project. But now I've regained it just because I'm happy with the progress I made today. It is really looking cool now. Still, the steering column looks kind of ridiculous, but I have the idea with the dashboard, and I have a cover that's going to go over part of that, so it'll kind of tie in. And again, it's just, that's where it has to be. I mean, with me sitting on it, that's where it feels the best. We're going to get the running boards on it. We're going to get fenders on it. Finish the exhaust. I just tacked that top piece in place and just started on the collector piece. And I still got to fill that in, so that's basically going to have to come, the engine's going to have to come back off, or the exhaust will have to come off the engine, either way, to finish that. And everything else is still off of it, like the clutch, the PTO clutch and all that, and the wiring and the battery, and got to figure out a fuel tank. I underestimated, I mean, I guess if I worked, You know what? I just, I thought honestly this was going to just be like a couple day throw together type thing, but I can't do a couple day throw together type thing. I just always am all about different details. Like, oh, I got to do this. Now I got to change that. But I am really liking the way this thing's coming out. Look at the Vanguard is perfectly placed right in the center there. Unfortunately, I had to add a support, which you could see goes right in between the Vanguard. I had to add that support because there was so much flex in that fiberglass on the front of that thing. But either way, I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. I may come up with some kind of lower valance or lower, you know, some kind of cover to go in that gap there. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I think it's kind of cool. I also kind of think it's cool. Like, you can see the exhaust and you can see the workings of the hinge, but I think it might just look a little cleaner, a little more put together. It'll tie in that front, I think, if it just has a lower piece to bring it all together. I'm really happy with the way the exhaust is turning out. It's probably just going to sound like the other one, but it's not equal length. This is a totally different engine, and it's a shorter exhaust, but, you know, I know they all sound the same. I mean, honestly, all these lawnmower V-twins, if they have an exhaust like that, they pretty much sound the same. Mine sounds a little different because it has an equal length and it has a really long pipe. But yeah, again, and then we have this that I totally redid. I'm happy how that came out. It looks a lot better too. Yeah, so testing. Let me see how I look on camera right now, because I actually feel like crap, so I probably look like crap. That's acceptable. So I didn't get it done again. Too many little things that I also just worked on it literally for one day, and the last time I worked on it you saw on video. So that was a thrash that, I don't know, did I even get that much done? I got the hood mounted. I got an exhaust mostly made. Put the wheels back on it, which were only off so I could bolt the seat on. I don't know. I guess really all I did was mount the hood and do an exhaust, didn't I? Yeah, what are you going to do? I guess I'm milking this one, and I guess you're going to have to join me for the next episode of this project, because now it's in limbo and it needs to get done. And I'm not kidding. My grass is like, you probably saw it in the truck scene, it's like a foot tall in some spots. So, you know what? It does bother me a little bit, people driving by and seeing it, but at the same, I'm not like one of these people that is big on, I don't care about the landscaping or anything like that. I'll mow it. I don't even have a working weed whacker right now, so that'll still look like crap. But anyway, as I go rambling on like I usually do, thank you guys for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you like this kind of stuff. Hit the like button if you like it. And comment down below. Tell me what you think. What do you think about this project? What do you think about this channel? It's kind of, sometimes it's all over the place, but lately it seems to be on the tractor stuff. I didn't get any views on the car, the Mercedes diesel, and I'm actually disappointed in that, because I thought that car would be popular and get a bunch of views regardless of the people that watch this channel. But anyway, man, I just keep on talking. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Guys.